So now to the indictments, and the most recent one happening in Fulton County. Right now, we're 9 days away from what is the surrender deadline given to former President Trump and the 18 others indicted in the Georgia election probe. We're also hearing from the sheriff's office. They've issued some guidance for the defendants. They say they're expected to be booked at the Fulton County Jail by 12 p.m. August 25th. That's next Friday. Now, there's a statement from the sheriff. It reads in part, keep in mind defendants can turn themselves in at any time. The jail is open 24/7. Also, due to the unprecedented nature of this case, some circumstances may change with little to no warning. And prosecutors, of course, in this indictment are alleging that Trump orchestrated a sweeping criminal enterprise, committing 13 felonies, as they say he tried and failed to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election. But before the grand jury vote, a document with a docket number was prematurely posted and taken down by the Fulton County Clerk's office. They said at first it was fictitious. You may remember that. Well, now another statement, County Clerk Che Alexander issuing a second clarifying statement. It reads in part that there was a mistaken post of a sample working document, further stating the office understands the confusion that this matter caused and the sensitivity of all court filings. We remain committed to operating with an extreme level of efficiency, accuracy, and transparency. Former President Trump now faces 4 criminal indictments in as many states. Again, the surrender date in Georgia next Friday. We'll see what happens there. Then also the following Monday, folks, August the 28th, the Trump team will be back in court to square off with Jack Smith's prosecutors in D.C. And oh yeah, there is a GOP presidential debate also squeezed in upon this. All right, let's get to our legal experts now to break it all down. Joining us with more analysis today, former chief counsel on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Victoria Toensing. She is also a senior Justice Department official. Also with us today, former U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., diGenova, also a chief counsel on the Senate Rules Committee. Welcome. It is a pleasure to see you both, as always.
Bianca, congratulations on the show.
Thank you so much. And we had John here yesterday to talk about his new endeavor, too. So a lot of good things happening here over at Newsmax. All right, so let's jump into this. 4 indictments. You know, of course, we hear the ham sandwich reference all the time here. So let's get into like the legal analysis. Which one are you most, concerned about that may take up some time, that may be a little bit more problematic if you're looking at Trump when we put it out here and fan out sort of the road ahead for him?
Well, actually, Bianca, all of them have grave legal problems. It's just that they're going to have to play out. New York is a farce. It's an embarrassment that somebody ever got through law school and has brought that indictment. But the case in Mar-a-Lago is going to be very complicated because of the classified information. What's Jack Smith going to do? Declassify all the documents to give to the jury to decide whether they violated the law beyond a reasonable doubt? I think that's got a really lot of issues in it.
And then, of course, in Georgia, we have 19 defendants. There is not a courtroom in the courthouse in Fulton County that can accommodate the 19 defendants plus 2 defense attorneys per defendant. So that's 57 people in the well of the court just for the defendants. She's going to have to rent a gymnasium and have a Soviet-style show trial in order to try the case. But I think that her case is going to be complicated by the fact that the president and others are going to remove this Georgia case to federal court. And I think they're probably going to win on that score, and she's going to lose most of the defendants.
Mark Meadows has already filed a motion.
Right here.
You got it?
Yeah, we have it.
And
I want to just set it up real quickly for the viewers, though. I mean, Mark Meadows is basically saying, as you guys were saying, this has to be moved. His attorneys are saying basically that there's nothing illegal by his conduct. They write nothing, and Mr. Meadows is alleged in this indictment to have done something criminal. As chief of staff, they're saying he was just doing his job. Is this where she's trying to pull in the RICO, though?
No, this is a statute that says it's 28 USC 1442, so people can look it up. But it says any state crime against a federal officer that is involved with the duties of his office has to be removed to federal court. You can't have state prosecutors around the country indicting the president or any federal officers for things that the local prosecutor has decided. It would be really bad policy. So this is an absolute statute, and that's what's based the removal on, and it will apply to Mark Meadows and Donald Trump. Those are the only 2, but there's chaos right there for her. Trump and Meadows are in federal court, and the rest are in state court. That's a problem.
Let's talk about, the circus. The sheriff's putting out guidance. We've seen barricades up for days now as if they're expecting huge crowds there and, sort of kind of signaling fear, even though nothing has happened yet. This is going to be high profile in one way, not only because it's Trump, but because Georgia has the right to use cameras in the courtrooms. And they're even saying that they will do a mugshot of the president. Guys, I think that that's also, somewhat as a disadvantage for, sort of the fairness, not the transparency of the cameras, but the circus of it. What will be played out in the court of public opinion?
Well, I think clearly the cameras in the courtroom are going to be a very serious problem for the fairness of the trial, because it is an established fact that cameras in the courtroom change the behavior of all the participants. The judge, who can ever forget Judge Ito and his performance in the O.J. Simpson case. The jurors may want to try and get on the jury because they want to be part of a historic case. They may want to convict no matter what the evidence is. They may want to acquit no matter what the evidence is. Witnesses will be affected by it because they don't want to be seen on television. The lawyers will be affected by it. They will behave differently. They're going to try to sell themselves to future clients. This is a disaster. And when you think about it, just wrap your head around this. 57 people on the defense side of the courtroom. As I said, couple that with the sheriff. You may recall this early on when the case was being discussed as being indicted. The sheriff went on television and was very snarky and nasty talking about President Trump. And he said he's going to be treated like any other defendant. He's going to be fingerprinted. He's going to get a mugshot. And, I'm in charge here. This is the way it's going to be. He's kind of toned it down a little bit since then. But these are hot dogs down there. The prosecutor's a hot dog. The sheriff's a hot dog. This is going to be a very unfair place for President Trump to be tried.
I have 30 seconds. I have 30 seconds. So just a hard 30-second out, Victoria. But your better half wants to give us a final thought here.
Yes.
No, I said maybe the sheriff got a call from the Secret Service, because the president cannot be treated like any other person. He cannot.
Well said. All right, both of you, I know we'll be checking back in with you as this develops. Thank you so much, Joe and Victoria. Always a pleasure to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bianca.